I'm just going to keep talking so that nobody can hear what he is saying. Not that Kevin Kilbane, the nicest man in Irish sport, would curse or would say anything negative about anybody.
I don't want to reach a second Naked Gun reference of the night, but I've ever seen that piece where Frank Drebin goes into the loo in front Naked Gun, and I was like, and everybody can hear him.
I'm a little bit worried about where he is, because outside, what you can't see, obviously, even if you're watching online, everybody outside is in complete panic right now, searching for Kilbane. Nobody knows where he is, so he could well be in the Jacks, singing away to himself. JP has just come back in.
Where was he?
Are we safe? Are we safe? He's turned off his microphone.
Thank God.
Well, thank God he's the one who had to learn that lesson and not me. Wow.
What was he singing?
I don't know what he was singing. It's a shame we couldn't let it go, because definitely when you're out in that office, let's just say the language can get a bit fruity at times, but not from Kevin, obviously, but somebody in the background. Whew, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's
wow.
It's kept us by the seat of our pants tonight. That's good. It's good. Keeps you on your toes, Nathan.
I think JP would have been fired.
Yeah, JP would have been culpable.
It's his responsibility, isn't it?
It is, yeah, totally.
He's the producer.
Fired. He's the fired one.
Which is a shame. But we're not going to sack Kilbane, no matter what he said. So I'd keep an eye on that, JP.
Tonight's Europa League quarterfinals, second legs are all just underway. Arsenal have taken a 4-1 first leg lead to Moscow, where it's still CSKA 0, Arsenal, a really strong Arsenal starting 11, including Petr Cech starting a goal there for them tonight. The Stade Velodrome in Marseille, absolutely hopping for the meeting of Marseille and RB Leipzig, and it is Leipzig have taken a 1-0 lead to the Velodrome tonight, still scoreless. All the games scoreless so far. Salzburg and Lazio, with Lazio 4-2 up on aggregate, and Atletico Madrid have taken a 2-0 first leg lead to Lisbon, and they're meeting with Sporting. We'll keep you abreast of any and all goals that do go in across the course of the night. Cork City manager John Caulfield has been handed a 1-game ban for his role in last week's melee that marred the end of their meeting with Waterford. Cork duo Stephen Beattie and Gary Buckley have also been suspended for 4 and 3 weeks respectively. Waterford boss Alan Reynolds also given a 1-match ban, but he'll be without Stanley Abora for 6 games and Bastian Herry for 4. And Eagle the 18th has given Paul Dunne a share of the lead at the end of the first day of the Open Day España. He's 6 under par alongside Scotland's Mark Warren. Graham McDowell 9 shots off the lead on day 1 of the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. 73 for him today. He ends the day on 2 over par. Rory Sabatini heads the field on 7 under, following a round of 64. Connacht captain John Muldoon will link up with Pat Lam again next season, but this time as a coach. It's been confirmed the retiring back row will join Lam's backroom team at Bristol. Muldoon has been with the province for 15 seasons and of course captained them to their Pro 12 title a couple of years ago. A Grade 1 treble for Nicky Henderson today at the opening day of the Grand National Festival at Aintree. 5-1 chance Lamy Serge claimed the feature race of the day, the Aintree Hurdle. And some lovely news emanating from South America tonight, Nathan. The head of the South American Football Confederation, CONMEBOL, has asked that the 2022 World Cup in Qatar be expanded to 48 teams.
We're there.
Yes, we are. FIFA was already planning to expand the number of finalists from 32 to 48 at the 2026 tournament, but Alejandro Dominguez has asked FIFA President Gianni Infantino to bring forward that expansion by 4 years. The Qatar World Cup is already hemmed in to a 28-day schedule due to it being moved from the summer to November and December of 2022.
I reckon he was maybe singing Supersonic.
It wasn't Supersonic.
Because it's 24 years since it was released. Yeah. Oasis' first single. He wanted us to play it for no reason tonight. He's like, it's not even a big anniversary.
You got to make a montage. It's 24 years since Supersonic. What are we going to put it in, Kev?
We will find out. You'll know this, Richie. We were talking to John Giles about the 1970 FA Cup final. He was saying that the first replay was played at Old Trafford. Why?
Was it the Pope?
I don't know if they care enough about the Pope in England. They're not like us, where we switched the All-Ireland final.
He got Wembley Stadium, but I think that was probably later. I think that was obviously the same time he came over here. JP2, the best Pope.
The reason was Wembley had been used for the horse show in 1970, heavily sanded after the drawn game, not fit for the replay, which had to be played at Old Trafford.
Thanks for that.
There you go. A little history lesson. We were chatting to John about it earlier, which is the reason we spoke about it. A little earlier on as well, we had the current Footballer of the Year, Andy Moran, in studio. He's also an ambassador for Kellogg's Cool Camps, Ireland's biggest summer camp for kids.
Yeah, that's the big, I suppose, promotional side of it. We're promoting, I suppose, just getting kids moving and getting them active.
Should be more honest. Let's be because I know now I have a 6-year-old. You can put out the health, well-being, all that. It's getting rid of your children for a full week for 6 hours a day.
I'm getting there. It's we're promoting the movement and the healthy eating and various things like that. But really, the promotion is giving parents a few hours to themselves and letting them chill out for a while. And I suppose the big consumers of the cool camps are the parents more so than the kids, you know.
Yeah. How is life?
Life is brilliant. Rough couple of weeks, I suppose, in terms of I had a second child, which was really good time in my life, and it was great. Yeah, thanks. But it's been busy since. And Joe, I suppose, Dad passed away there just shy of 2 months ago. So it's been a weird couple of weeks. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, thanks. And it's I suppose emotionally it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but it's great to have the little fellow home and healthy and everything like that.
When you're going through that and that range of emotions, do you like to be around the football team? Do you like to be around camp, or do you just need to get away from it all and try and rest the head?
Yeah, post Dad passing, 100% I was mad to get back playing, and I played a couple of days after against Dublin, and I was happy with that. And but I suppose the week when we knew he was when we knew he was passing, it was a tough week to be around it. But I was glad I did a bit of training in around it, you know, and it was great to have the support of the fellas there as well.
Yeah, I guess it's particularly tough as well in the position you're in Mayo. You've got your own business right beside McHale Park, and you've a huge amount of people in the gym passing in, out. They don't really know what's going on in your personal life. They want to talk about Mayo, I'd imagine, quite a lot, and at the same time you don't want to divulge everything to them either. Yeah,
we were quite private about it, to be honest, and it was Joe, it was a difficult time, and I knew it, and I suppose my staff knew it at the time, and but we kind of kept it to ourselves. And then I suppose post that, I just found it a very humbling experience, to be honest, that so many people came from Mayo, came in relation to the gym, came in relation to football, all my family, friends and stuff like that. And it was actually a really nice experience, and the old fella would have loved the fuss, and he'd have been chuffed with the turnout he got, I suppose, you know.
I'd say he was incredibly proud as well last November when you were announced Footballer of the Year.
Yeah, he wasn't the biggest football man in the world, but what he did over the course of since I started playing in 2003, he really did get into it, and he loved days out in Croke Park, and yeah, there were proud moments, and he'd be a great man to tell you. He'd come home and you'd get 2 points, and you'd be chuffed with your 2 points, and he'd ask you why you didn't get the third, you know. And it was, I suppose, it was a great lesson for me. He always kind of expected more from you, even without not knowing much about it.
Great as well, I guess, that it wasn't suffocating. Then you could actually go home and have a different part of your life, because I always get the sense of him down home in Mayo, like it must be so suffocating for you as players. It's all anybody ever wants to talk about, and there's so many rumours, and we see it constantly with Lee Keegan most of all, and what he had to go through with some of the rumours. There's always some story about something, and you're stuck right in the middle of it. To actually have been able to go home and have something else.
Yeah, it was obsessive, and I found that, I'll tell you where I found that really good was when we had the kids. We had Charlotte a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and I found it really good just to be able to switch off, because I would be one of those self-consumed lunatics in Mayo that love football and really was obsessed by it. And what Charlotte, I suppose, did for me was give me a switch off when I got home, and I suppose I had that before in my past when I used to go home to Dad and things like that, but now the kids are giving me that sort of mind space as well.
How much of your day is still thinking about Mayo football?
The last 12 weeks, very little in terms of, I love going to training, love lifting weights all of a sudden, but it would. And like last Sunday I'd seen Galway playing Dublin in Croke Park. All of a sudden your mind has been occupied about it again, and we'd have club action this Sunday against Moore. But at the back of your mind there's always, listen, we've a really big game here in 5 weeks' time, and how you can improve the team, and Keith coming back in on Monday and getting Killian and Leroy fit and senior, they're going to be, there's always, as you said, there's always a story, always something to be thinking about.
I know you spoke to Joe after the All-Ireland defeat and spoke about the homecoming and getting used to these sort of homecomings and how you look at them and appreciating the support that comes out, maybe as compared to at the start where it was very difficult going back to Castlebar. The night of the All-Ireland, I do remember looking on Facebook and seeing probably a lot of people from where I'm from in Ballyhonus were out in City West, and everyone's still getting their photographs with you, and the players, like some of their smiles on faces, and seem to be relaxed. I'm not going to say enjoying yourself. Like 6 hours after a defeat like that, when there's 1,000 Mayo people all coming to the City West to sit for dinner, and you're in the centre of it. Like, what's going through your head? Do you just want to be anywhere else, or?
Yeah, you do. You
just put on a brave face. Someone asks for you a photo, and you thank them for the support. And
I suppose over the years, particularly since 2011, we've grown to appreciate it, if that makes any sense. Like, we are getting to the time where we're an experienced team. We've a lot of guys over 30 who are moving to different stages of life, having kids, getting engaged. Getting engaged, married, having kids. So we've a lot of guys getting to that stage, and what we do appreciate is that we are the lucky kind of 30, 33 guys who get the chance to represent the how many thousand at home, and they're there in the homecoming, and the guys that probably paid a couple of €100 for the ticket at the table in City West. And we've just come to realise that we have to appreciate the effort the supporters are making, our families are making, our wives are making, and I think that's just the stage of the career and life that the team is in, and the life cycle the team is in.
Have you come to a stage as well where you realise the impact that this team has had? And look, I don't want this to be a sort of a Mayo love-in, because people will point out, listen, ultimately you lost the finals, but there's a pride amongst Mayo people for what this team have achieved, that there's a coming together of Mayo people. They stand a bit taller because they've been on this journey that I don't know if it was always there, if it's there with every county. The fact people get to come together in Dublin in August 2 or 3 times a year, walk down Grafton Street, walk down O'Connell Street in their Mayo jersey. There's a pride there in that jersey that I'm not sure is reflected around the country, that you've actually left some sort of indelible mark on Mayo people. Yeah,
well, there's a pride. I think I suppose this journey started probably in 2011, where we kind of got moving. We had a disaster in 2010, and the team started moving in 2011. And I remember coming off the pitch when we bet Cork, or even at a half time in that Cork game in 2011, there was a very small crowd there in Croke Park. It was the eeriest first half I've ever played in. But basically we got a standing ovation coming off the pitch, because everyone expected there to go, and for Mayo to, I suppose, All-Ireland, we were playing the defending All-Ireland champions, to fall over, but we started making this comeback. And since then, I think it was just after the recession. We were probably trying to pull ourselves out of it. Mayo people were probably suffered more so than any other part of the country, and it just kind of gave the sense of identity back to the people of Mayo. Now, have we lost in Ireland? Have we lost All Irelands? Yes, we have. Are we very realistic in where we are as a team? We are, but we do realise that the team is more important than just a football team, and it's probably a sense of identity. People have said, like, it gives people a social life, and it gives people something else to just get away from the mundane running of their lives day in, day out.
Do you talk about that?
Not really. I think it's just a sense that's there, and we're, I suppose, very proud to be part of that.
Yeah. You're living and working in Castlebar. You've got your own business, the gym, and an awful lot of this Mayo group are in Dublin. It's been spoken about maybe the difficulties that means in terms of training, in terms of getting the group together, and it's something that's becoming a bigger issue in the GAA. It's harder to keep people in rural communities, and like Castlebar, there's been a lot of talk about it. Like, what's Castlebar like now post that recession?
Castlebar is what I have found. This is going to be our 3rd year there in June, and it's growing every week. It's getting busier traffic wise. You can see a huge difference. There's a buzz around the town. The main street now, you'd know the main street, most of the listeners probably don't, but all them shop units that were closed are now all reopening, which is great for the town. And it's to be honest, it's a great place to work at the minute, and I suppose we're very proud to be any part of it at all.
Do you feel that having so many players up in Dublin and commuting down does make an impact ultimately? Like, when we think of All-Ireland finals and losing by a single point, or losing by a single point after a replay, that those fine margins ultimately do come into play?
I think it's a massive player in the league. I don't think it's a massive player in the championship.
Okay.
I think it would help if some of our guys were down. Like, when we played championship football, we'll have 4 or 5 guys left in Dublin between May and ultimately when you're finished playing. And when the championship comes, it's an evening out. Definitely, it definitely is. In the league, it's a massive disadvantage. Like, it's a huge disadvantage in terms of getting pitches in the Midlands, in terms of trying to get your structures together, your team.
Where do you train during the league?
It could be Castlebar, it could be Ballyhonus in the Centre of Excellence, it could be Athlone IT, it could be really any pitch that's available around the
right,
Midlands.
So you'd drag the lads who are based in Mayo and you'd all go up and train in Athlone and sort of meet halfway?
Yeah, so we try to do that as much as we can during the league, but the primarily training is half in Dublin, where Tony McEntee would take the training, and half in Castlebar, where Donny Buckley would take the training.
The Donegal game, you got there just about. Kevin McLaughlin, pretty much last kick of the game, got the draw, so survival in Division 1. We David Brady in here the day before, he was talking about he felt it would be an absolute disaster for Mayo going forward if they dropped down to Division 2, that just the standard is at such a different level in Division 1 that ultimately it may put an end to All Ireland hopes for another few years. Did you feel that sort of pressure going into that game? Did it have a championship style feel to it?
We knew in our last 3 games, Kildare, Tyrone, Donegal, that we needed to win 2 of them games. And we thought if we won 2 of them, we'd stay up. Now, going on a draw and a win kept us up. But I think we were very kind of realistic about our league. The first priority was to stay up. In a lot of our games from our All-Ireland starting 15, we had between 5 and 7 players starting from the first 15. And to me, in our league, we found a lot of good new players. Keelan Crone, Owen O'Donoghue being the standouts at cornerbacks. And then up front, Conor Loftus really showed well in the last game, really stood up, showed a mental side of his game, which was great to see. Stephen Cohen played a lot of the league, played every minute of the league actually, which is huge for us. Adam Gallagher. So we found a few players. You add to that, you bring back in Keith Higgins, Brendan Harrison and Chris Baird, who are 3 All-Stars, full back line. It does really help. And going to Ballybuffet, did we find the pressure? Yeah, but to be honest with you, you're used to the pressure and you're used to big games. And the Kevin, it was the last kick of the game, but the mantra was keep ourselves in the game, we will get a chance, and that's the way it proved.
So you look back on the league and you're reasonably satisfied? Are there performances there that you really look back and there's a bit of regret and may give you some cause for concern?
Huge.
You're hearing as well that this team, this same group, remarkably has been pretty much on the road for 7 years at this stage. There's going to come a time where there is a decline. Are you sort of constantly raging against the dying of the light here?
100%. You're time waits for no one. I'm 34 and 35 in November. A lot of our guys in that 2006 All-Ireland final winning team, under 21, they're all 33 now. Coming 33 this year. So let's be honest here. This team is getting older, but do we have confidence that we can perform when we need to perform? And that I think that's unwavering, and so would there be performance in the league that we'd be very happy with? Yes, there is. Monaghan, Kildare, Donegal, we'd be happy with all 3 of them. Would there be performances that we'd be half happy with? I suppose the likes of Kerry, where we found a few new players. Yes, there is. Dublin performance wasn't bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. But then there's performances like Galway and Tyrone that just weren't up to standard, and we'd be very realistic when we analyse our games and we look through them, we wouldn't be happy with.
That confidence then to be able to go and perform, and the word mirroring I think was used a lot last year. The Mayo seemed to be able to match the level of your opponents as you went along. So during the qualifiers where maybe there were teams that would be seen as lesser teams, Mayo played at that level and somehow scraped through, but then when ultimately you got to Croke Park, you were able to raise it. There is that confidence there within the Mayo group that actually, if it comes to a Super 8, Dublin, Croke Park, we feel we can get back to that level all the time.
100%. And I think he had Edu O'Sullivan in here a couple of weeks ago, I think, and he asked him, did he go to any other managers during his career to see how, and he quoted Alex Ferguson when I think he went over to United, and he quoted Alex Ferguson. He said the key to all top level sports is getting your best players on the pitch as often as you can. And when you get to the age profile that the team is at, is the proper thing to have your best players on the pitch in January, February, March, April? It probably isn't. So our key is to stay up in Division 1 and then to go hell for leather at Galway in 5 weeks' time.
Have you done anything differently this year compared to the last couple of years to try and get that extra 1-3% that might get you over the line in September?
I think a lot of fellas were given extra time off. In terms of analysing our games, things like that, there has been stuff done. Am I willing to indulge that stuff? I will if we do get over the line. But at the minute, Joe, there's been a lot of good stuff done, and it's hopefully it will come into fruition in the next couple of weeks.
Galway are taking the month off in preparation. Despite getting to 2 All-Ireland finals, it does feel as though Galway are favourites heading into this.
Understandably, yeah. It's I wouldn't be the sort of person that would push favouritism tag on anyone, to be honest with you. But Galway, if you're talking about the curve and you're looking at the stats and stuff like that, Galway pulled a lot of points out of the league. I think, did they lose 13. A point? 13 out of 16 points, which is a great return. We like big games.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see Galway, whether we've seen previous times, I guess, with Roscommon, you target spring and maybe summer's difficulty. Does it feel like everything's riding on this game, that if there is a setback, if Galway were to win, that it's going to be a hell of a long summer trying to get to Super 8s?
See, the danger with the back door. The back door has an awful lot of benefits in terms of you're playing week in, week out. You're moving through the the gears, you get yourself going. The danger is that you've only one slip up, and as you've seen last year with Cork, and you've seen with Derry, that slip up very nearly came, and that's the danger. The priority is to go through the front door. But if it doesn't happen for either Mayo or Galway in 5 weeks' time, I don't think it's the end of the summer for either of the teams. And at this minute, we have 3 of the first 8 teams in the Division 1 of next year, which is really good for Connacht football. You have Sligo, who maintained the Division 3 status, Leitrim, who are doing some good work in behind the scenes, and Connacht football is in a good place.
Have you been your own worst enemies in a way that maybe you set a bar for Galway or Roscommon that they could aspire to, whereby maybe you look at Dublin, the resources, it's impossible for teams around the country to look at that and think we can emulate it. Kerry have the tradition, or actually Mayo have got there pretty much through good hard work and all right, a once in a generation group of players as well. But actually Roscommon and Galway can look at that and look at the template and go, well, if we follow that pattern, we can probably go pretty close as well.
I think Roscommon put a structure in place in underage football years ago, which really helped them go along the line. Galway definitely wouldn't like Mayo just succeeding in too much before they come back, so they've definitely been hungry. But the thing about Dublin, I think Monaghan are a great bar to set. Like Monaghan have done their work. They go up to Croke Park 2 weeks ago. They do really well in the league. They do really well against Dublin, and they set a high standard. So I believe most counties can get to a level. Now, if they can't get to the level of Dublin, that's fair enough. But they can definitely get to a level where they can aspire to. And I think Galway and Roscommon have just done a lot of good work, and they've pulled themselves together, and they're getting the rewards for it.
Are you in favour of the Super 8s? Is it something, if you get there, you'd really look forward to? Like, there is the possibility of Dublin, Castlebar, a Saturday night.
Yeah. And like we were like, the atmosphere in Ballybuffet is class now, just for instance, right? So that game was a really good game to be part of. Okay, 2 teams, a lot of riding on it. Nearly a full house. And we did say, coming out of it, a lot of us saying, it'd be really cool to play the Super 8s in different venues. And you remember Limerick in 2014, like what atmosphere that was down playing Kerry in Limerick. Like it was amazing, really, to be honest, because you wouldn't experience that usually, and am I in favour of the Super 8s? In a lot of ways I am, and I would like to hold off kind of my opinion on it till it's over, but to be honest, I'm delighted I'm still playing while it's on. I'd hate to have been retired and for it to happen then and not to experience it. So really looking forward to it, to be honest, but the key is to be in it. Yeah,
as you say, you are 34 now, you'll be 35 next November. Like, are you at that stage when you're going to Ballybuffet, you are looking around, you are making sure you take everything in, or are you at a stage where you're the current footballer of the year, you're at the peak of your powers? Yeah, well, I would, like the way I've looked at it since probably 2014. I was captain in 2014, couldn't really get fit at all for the year. So when I came back in 15, I thought it was a bonus year. All that was being asked to me was, we just need you fit come the championship. And I got fit and I really enjoyed it. I genuinely really, I don't think I've enjoyed a year as much as 2015. And then, the career started cranking off then again, and we started moving. And my philosophy on it now was, listen, when you go to Ballybuffet, it could be your last time playing Ballybuffet, because now Donegal are relegated. When we play them next time, we'll be probably in Castlebar. Like, I'll be 35, 36 at that stage. So every game now I go into and I go, listen, let's enjoy this, let's have a bit of fun here. And it seems to be working for me. Have you thought about retirement? Oh, 100% I have. Because it's coming like it's Alan Dillon's obviously stepped aside, and we had him in here talking about running for election, and Keith Higgins is back, and in a way it felt, well, Keith Higgins can't retire, it's too early, but like, he's 33 actually. Most inter-county players around the country are retiring at that age. Like at 34, 35, you thinking this could be the last year? Or yeah, well, you're going away for training there, and my wife is football fanatic, she's GAA fanatic, but she is minding 2 kids at home, and you have to be realistic as well. And it does. Do I think of retiring? Do I think I will play for another year after this year? I would love to think I would, but you do have to be realistic, and I am 35 in November, but I'd love to play for as long as I can, and just I suppose be happy with my effort when I finish, and just say I gave it my all, and then just move on. Is that being happy with your effort dependent on having an All-Ireland medal in your back pocket, or have you got to the stage where you've had to come to terms with that it simply just may not happen? If you asked me that question at 25 years of age, I would have 100% said, listen, I think we should win 2, 3 All-Irelands.
at this stage of my life, when I suppose I should be a tiny bit more mature, but I probably am in my thinking, maybe not in all my acts, but I should be probably a bit in my thinking. To be honest, all you can do is actually just leave it and just go, I gave him my best shot. I know for a fact, you were mentioning Alan Dillon there. Alan Dillon gave it everything that he could give it.
Yeah.
He literally, like, of all players, he gave it everything he could give it, and it wasn't to me. And I'm sure Alan is quite comfortable with that.
Well, I do remember talking to you. I think it was maybe before the start of the 2014 championship, and saying, like, how do you go back after losing another All-Ireland final like happened in 2013? And you were making the point, well, I just love this. Like, I'm here Tuesday night, Thursday night with my best mates playing football for my county. Like, you got to love the journey as well. Yeah,
and to be honest, that still is. Do I like running? Absolutely hate it, but I like playing football. I like the battle. I like going into training. I like people were asking about the All-Ireland finals, but if you're going to lose, you're as well losing an All-Ireland final. Like, there's no point losing in the second round of the quarterfinals. So I would love to go and give it just go for it again, and we'll see how we get on. Like what's better than playing, you're from Mayo, we're playing Galway 5 weeks' time in a packed house in Casper. Where else would you rather be?
Yeah, I get the sense you're buzzing for May 13th.
No, well, it's going to be a good one,
Andy, thanks a lot for coming into the studio this afternoon. Best of luck over the course of the summer. Andy Moran, ambassador for Kellogg's GAA Cool Camps 2018, Ireland's biggest summer camp promoting health, fitness and nutrition for kids. You can register online at kellogg'scoolcamps.gaa.ie.
Off the ball on News Talk. News Talk Breakfast.
We've been having a discussion about the posters on both sides of the campaign for the upcoming referendum on the 8th Amendment. Now, the nature of some of the posters and billboards has been called into question. It got us thinking, though, who is responsible for regulating the content of this advertising?
All in all, it seems to be an extremely grey area, and no one particular body seems to regulate the actual content of the referendum posters and advertising.
News Talk Breakfast, weekday mornings at 7.
In association with AIR.
Hear the full News Talk Breakfast podcast at newstalk.com and on the News Talk app.
Not long now, so plenty of gym. No bread, no beer. I want to look my best.
Some days are just special. Whatever the big occasion, you'll be glad you're wearing a suit crafted by Best Menswear. The Best Menswear suit event now on, with unmatched prices. New flagship store now open, Jervis Street. Best Menswear.
Has to offer as a global technology hub, featuring keynote speakers such as YouTube sensation Casey Neistat, President Obama's direct